Well, hello everybody. This is Secondhand Coke and welcome to my channel. What you are looking at tonight is my very first foray onto YouTube. I've been untimely afflicted with COVID, and so if my voice doesn't sound quite up to par, that's probably why. But it is also definitely why this is going to be a bit of a shorter video than the one I had prepared for you, where we were really going to delve into the content of this channel, which is going to be about all the media manipulation ploys that Meghan Markle and people like Meghan Markle use in order to try to make the truth harder to suss out. So this first episode is called Cokelore, and I felt like I needed a Cokelore episode to introduce myself to you, because most of you probably don't really know who the hell I am. And after this, I still can't promise that you'll know a whole lot about who I am, but you'll know a little more than you did before, which may or may not be good, just depending on your state of mind. But we will give it a shot. So yes, Secondhand Coke, SHC, is now on TV. And while this channel is starting out as a Meghan Markle channel, I will be dropping some Meghan Markle tea every now and again. I will comment on all the Meghan Markle issues du jour, including her blessed silence that we've been enjoying for I don't know how many weeks now, but it's been absolutely fantastic. But there is gossip surrounding that too. But if you're here, I do feel like I should give you an idea about who I am as an individual, or at least who Secondhand Coke is as an individual, because Secondhand Coke is, to an extent, a character. And if you're here, you know that that character is yet another asshole on Reddit who just, talks about a lot of things all the time, or writes about them specifically. And that's me. If you found your way this way so far and are among one of the, I think at last count it was around 700 subscribers already, which is crazy. And please, please, please share the channel, like it, subscribe. If you feel motivated, I think I've got a tip jar in the comments if you want to help me get up on my feet. I've been working on, upgrading my audio and trying to start this thing out on the right foot, but it does take a lot of work, more than I really even realized until I put a deadline on myself to release by 11:58 or 59 Eastern Standard Time tonight. So that said, we've got quite a bit to talk about. If you found your way to this channel, you probably have found your way here because you're familiar with me on Reddit, specifically on the subreddit Saint Meghan Markle. Now, don't let the beatific subname fool you. We call it Saint Meghan Markle, but it in no way chronicles the sanctitude of anything that Meghan Markle does. For the most part, it just kind of chronicles her hypocrisy and narcissism and absolute hilarity at times, and in some of the misadventures that she finds herself in. In terms of Secondhand Coke as a name, you may also be wondering where that came from. Well, you've got three possibilities based on what I could dig up on the interwebs. The first, and I think a lot of people assume that Secondhand Coke has to do, is this some kind of drug channel? Does the creator Secondhand Coke, imbibe in some sort of use of cocaine? I don't know if I can say that on YouTube, but such products that are, I don't know, bought through the Salvation Army. I don't know what makes it secondhand. So I guess that's one interpretation for what Secondhand Coke could be about. The other, more day-to-day pedestrian interpretation, is what it actually is, which is Coca-Cola. And I drink a lot, read way too much Coca-Cola, and that's kind of, I'll tell you the genesis of the story of how it came to be as a name that I eventually picked as a Reddit for an account that I intended to just be my kind of throwaway smartass account, but here we are. Also, somebody on St. Meghan Markle, whose father worked in the coal mines in Pennsylvania, let me know that Coke is also a fossil fuel, or a byproduct of coal. And I did think it was kind of neat that, it says it's secondary fuel from coal. So brings in the Secondhand Coke some, but that was just not something I planned to learn, but learned nonetheless because of this particular channel. So all three are veritable and perfectly fine ways for you to interpret what the heck a secondhand Coke is as you hopefully delve into this channel more, and as more videos are posted. And really the answer to which one of those three it came from, the truth is that it came from Coca-Cola. What happened was I gave birth like a few times over a decade, and when I was in there, if you don't recognize that, that's some recent picture put out by some crackhead sugar that fabricated faces onto Prince Perry and Meghan and some random baby who probably wishes he wasn't there, onto a picture, because nothing about their birth story would. I don't see any kind of nitrous cans in the background, or watering pools or whatever the hell else. So anyway, I took that picture and just kind of added my avatar there on top of it to talk about the provenance of my name, Secondhand Coke, which you may or may not care about, but we're here anyway. So basically, when I was giving birth, probably the first time, the nurse asked, did you, drink during pregnancy? Did you smoke during pregnancy? I said no to both because I didn't during both. And then she was like, any drugs, any substances? And I said, really no, just a lot of Coke. And then her mouth fell open, and I had to quickly collect myself and be like, no, 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 a cola, Coca-Cola, not what you're thinking. Or maybe she was thinking of the Pennsylvania coal product. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have jumped so quickly to that conclusion. But anyway, there we were. So that started an entire stream of jokes with my then husband and the nurse, and we were talking about how the baby gets secondhand Coke instead of secondhand smoke. So that's where all that came from. So once your excitement dies down, we can move forward in this presentation. So who again is Secondhand Coke? This long rambling story short, she's basically an asshole on Reddit who talks a lot on the St. Meghan Markle sub, commenting on the behaviors of Meghan Markle, but also what has probably generated the small following that I've managed to get on Reddit, as well as apparently, pushing out into other social media like Twitter and Facebook. Or do people even do is that even a thing anymore, Facebook, and Quora or whatever else people are doing? But I think while I would like to believe, with my participation on the St. Meghan Markle sub, there it is, just so that I can give you all my props and my respect, and my thanks for being such a great place to blow off some steam about not just this issue, but the issues that kind of get wrapped up within the whole Meghan Markle issues surrounding narcissism and media manipulation and just bad dressing and all kinds of stuff like that. But no, Secondhand Coke is just an asshole on Reddit who got a little bit of a following. And while I would hope it would be because of incisive and witty comments like these, there's three of my comments on St. Meghan Markle having to do with Meghan Markle's feet that I have commented on ad nauseum, as you can see. Perhaps I get a little bit more of my following because a family member of mine is kind of well connected in Hollywood, and he's in a good place to give me gossip that he's been very nicely giving to me over the past 5 years. And as I've shared it in dribs and drabs throughout the comment section on the sub, a lot of it has come true. And people have started to follow me and share that content out into the world of social media outside of Reddit. So I think probably maybe my incisive wit in writing has something to do with it, but I think probably the tea that Kermit and I spill every now and again has a lot to do with it as well. Okay, so with all that being said, that's who Secondhand Coke is. That is the Coke lore. I guess the question everybody who doesn't know the situation would be asking would be, so why focus on Meghan Markle if she's such a wreck? If she's such an awful human being, why spend the time focusing on her? And it's a decent question, and I'll tell you why. as a part of, again, Cokelore. So personally, I am a lifelong Anglophile, and that is not a picture of me. It could be. I do want to give thanks to the Anglophilia Facebook group for that picture. I love it a lot for reasons I'm not really sure of, but I just do. But watching, British television, British media, traveling to the UK, just the culture, the people, the jokes, the landscape, everything is just something that I have always had a natural affinity for. And included in that is the study of British history, the study of the royal family. And here they are right now. This one still has Lizzie on it. Rest in peace, girl. And it also doesn't have, but what I liked about this one in particular is it doesn't ascribe any kind of children to Harry and Meghan, which I'm still not sure we can do yet. I've heard, the tea in Hollywood, so to speak, is that there are children, they've been seen, and I think that that's true. But in terms of who had them, do they belong in the line of succession, those are questions that still are not answered in my opinion. But I got into this whole Meghan Markle debacle because I'm a royal watcher and because I'm such a student of the UK and all of its products, and especially its intellectual products. I've been watching royal families my whole life. And when I say I've been watching the royal family, I mean all dynasties, or dynasties, as we would say here, but I have to be pretentious, so I'll say dynasty. If they pulled me up in front of a, you know, I would sit in front of a tomb and watch a Plantagenet decompose for quite a long time. That's how serious of a royal watcher I am. If you know anything about that particular Plantagenet, is he considered a Plantagenet or is he considered a York? I don't know. Anyway, you can tell me in the comments. But basically, that is a fella by the name of Richard III, and he was recently found after he was excavated from his parking lot burial ground, which somehow is where he ended up after he lost at the Battle of Bosworth Hill against Henry Tudor. But anyway, they've re-entombed him in this nice place here. And interesting fact is that I was actually in the UK when Richard III was being entombed and got to see that happen. And it was a very exciting part of my life. And again, now it is part of Cokelore. All right. So one day I was innocently watching Plantagenets and Hanovers and Tudors and Windsors and eventually the wedding of Catherine and William. And then several years later, I was walking down a supermarket aisle and I happened to see this, which, if any of you were there, you remember as the first big magazine cover letting the world know that Prince Harry had found a girlfriend. And I was really happy about it. I really was. I didn't realize that she was half African American at first, but once I found that out, I was like, oh, but that's just cool that, add some, I don't know, African Americanness to the British royal family. Be very good for the Commonwealth, and mostly, like everybody, I just wanted to like her. And I did like her, and I didn't know her, which brings me to my next slide. But I was happy for them and really was, hoping that things were going to go well for old Harry. I did immediately wonder, you know, who is Meghan Markle? That led me to another big question, which has been answered in my life more than I ever could have wanted it to. I mean, I really didn't care, but now I know so well because it's been repeated over 968,000 times in as many articles as has been published about this woman. But something else, once I found out who Meghan Markle was, which was basically she had like a bit part on a series on the USA Network, but that prompted the next question, which is, and what is Suits? Suits is that particular show that she believes rose her into the absolute pinnacle of fame and glory. And apparently everyone, I mean, you go back now and you read stuff and you would think that, everyone from the lowest, poorest person was watching, through shop windows to try to get a view of Meghan Markle on Suits every month. Oh, and all the way up to William and Catherine themselves. They're, of course, according to Spare, huge fans of Suits and all that entails. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, with this channel, I'm going to kind of leave it there for today. And I just want to say we'll do some eye cleansers with pictures of cats, unless you're scared of cats. If you're scared of cats, we can go, to golden retrievers. They're pretty docile. But I am going to come out with a part 2 to this introduction that jumps into the purpose of this channel and what I hope to do. One point that I hope to make is that Meghan Markle is a product of a very unique time, and she could not exist unless the media climate of today were what it happens to be. Without the 24-hour news cycle, without the news shift from, going out on a beat and finding news to cover to PR pushing news to you, without, PR agencies, in a sense, kind of running what goes on in especially popular magazines that we all tend to enjoy, she couldn't exist. Without the focus now on narcissism, she couldn't get any of the interest that she generates. I think a lot of people watch her just because she's such a great lens, as she would say, through which to study just the dynamics of narcissism, but she's also the perfect lens to study the dynamics of the modern media and the smoke and mirrors they use to make us believe things that aren't true. So going forward with this channel, I want to say that I plan to delve into the media angle, especially as concerns her. One question, I hope that you all, as you've watched, have hopefully gotten a little taste of what this is going to be about. It's not quite the product that I dreamed of putting out first, but hopefully it whets your appetite a little bit. Please leave in the comments for me any questions that you might have about media and about Meghan Markle's role in it, how she's been able to manipulate it. And if you have any questions or you want to know any tea about what's going on the Meghan and Harry front as they've been detached and away from each other for a while, please put that down in the comment line too. If I've said anything in here that's incorrect, you're free to correct me. You're free to discuss with each other ideas. I would just like to lay down some ground rules for the chat. First of all, just be nice. There's no need to name call or be mean to each other. You can be mean to the subject, not me. Or if you are mean to me, I guess I can just delete it. But, I respect constructive criticism. So if you have any, please do share it with me in a nice way. And we're going to stay off the topic for a little while, at least, of politics, especially the American election that just happened. I'm just not ready. I don't think any of us are ready. I'm not sure I'll ever be ready, but for now, I'm not ready. So that's the rule number 2, and just generally no name calling and no undue disrespect towards those that we are discussing these topics together, with whom we are discussing these topics together. There we go. All right. So to look forward to next time, I am going to do a little bit of tea about where's Harry, where's Meghan, what's going on with them. In terms of the media that I'm going to talk about, I had one question come up that I think is a good place to start, which is, first of all, how do you tell the difference between puff pieces and real news? And then I'm going to pull up some of the articles about, Richard Eden and the Portuguese palace that they've supposedly purchased that they haven't, if you ask me, and the sequel, which is Richard Eden's latest article about the Portuguese palace. But also, delving into what's going on in Montecito right now, what's going on with Meghan, what's going on with Harry, what's the deal with the surfing. You know what? I will give you this as a piece of parting tea. So, for those of you who don't know, remember how right around when they all went radio silent? Well, Meghan had that surf instructor put out that video of Harry in the wading pool, like practicing surfing looking stuff. And everybody's like, oh, he's been surfing lately, that's what he's doing right now. And it makes it look like he's in California and whatever. The truth is, she gave him those surf lessons as a birthday present in 2020, and those pictures were taken not long after he received the gift. So that's just a little bit of tea for you before I sign off for right now. With that said, thank you for joining me. I hope these puppies were wonderful to kind of tie off the end of this beginning episode. I hope that it at least whet your appetite. Again, I have the COVID and I wanted to get up something more, but this is what I got, and hopefully it's enough for tonight. Thank you very much for watching. Please, please, please put your thoughts, your impressions, your suggestions, your critiques in the comments. Please like, subscribe, share, and once I get any kind of what do you call it, like PayPal or thing, if I even do it, what I'd rather do is I'd rather get the audience up so that I can have YouTube pay me to do this. But yes, thanks again for your attention tonight, and for tolerating these puppies for as long as you have. And we will close out right now. This is Secondhand Coke from her first episode on YouTube, signing off and saying good night.